Welcome to the Fluff, sex bitches, and let me just fix this a little bit. That should be better with the music, I hope. But yeah, welcome. We gonna read some more SCPs today. Yesterday there was some good ones. I'm still traumatized by that teddy bear. That teddy bear was still, in my book, a bit insane. Gotta honestly say. So for some reason, it's saying that I have 0 followers now on one of my goals. Technical difficulties. Don't you just love them? Total follower count. Yeah. There's nothing I can do. I don't know why it thinks that, but let's just try total. Because if we do this, yeah, see, total donation, that changes. Okay, now let's just do total follower count. Sure. Whatever you say. Apparently 0. Unless, hold on. Nope, it's still 99, so I have no idea why it says 0 here. Oh well. We don't have to pay attention to that right now. All we gotta pay attention to is this world of wonders, horrors, and fantasy that we're gonna dive into. Just gonna tell some people. If I want to do that, let me just quickly do that here. We got 30 seconds before we officially. I always try to start reading in the 5-minute mark. That's not. That is not it. Oh yeah, because I did it on the other computer. That's why. That is why. This is why there is war. That doesn't make any sense out of context with that reference. So. I don't know what else I should send. Everybody seems so busy. I made it. Okay, well, but it's the 5-minute mark has long passed, so we have to start now. So here we go. Let's enjoy ourselves some new stuff. What do we have here? So the first one is Obsidian Obelisk of Warning. Now, if I recall correctly, there was an SCP way back in the day that I read in the really early stages of SCP that also had to do with like the Obsidian Ritual Knife. So I wonder if there's like a connection to that one. But Obsidian Obelisk of Warning. So it's an obelisk, which is a big ass. The same as like the monument. I think that's an obelisk, right? Or am I wrong? Yeah. The Washington Monument is technically an obelisk, or at least it's obelisk shaped. So I assume it's like one where you touch it, or you're in the near vicinity, and it's just be like, hey, around that time, if you try to cross the street, there will be a crazy driver and he's going to try to hit you. So be careful. Oh, that's tiny to read. Oh boy, are these all footnotes? That's a lot of footnotes. That's a lot of footnotes, gotta say. It's a highly rated one though. Okay, we're starting with a good one, and I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna activate the fan today because it is a bit warm in here. So if you hear it, I apologize for that. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Let's actually see what the audio capture says. You can definitely hear it there. You can definitely hear it. And even if I change this to any other, yeah, then maybe not. Even though I'm sweating, I'd rather not it be too loud like that. So, but yeah, let's get started. So this one is safe. -1 is to be maintained in a storage facility with interior dimensions of at least 5 by 5 meters by 32 meters. The ceiling of the storage facility, specifically the area directly over SCP-1050-1, must be shielded to block radio waves broadcast at an intensity of, and then let me get my sound stuff up, redacted. There's a footnote already. -1 is currently stored at area 179. Let's see here. See addendum 2. Well, thanks for the footnote. Occurrences of -2 are to be located upon identification of the corresponding change in SCP-1050-1. These are to be located and confiscated by Foundation agents. -2 is to be stored in secure classified document storage. And now there's also instances of -3 must be tracked by monitoring radio telescope telemetry. When an instance of -3 is detected by non-Foundation personnel, all records must be confiscated and or destroyed, and affected persons should be administered amnesiacs or amnestics. So there's three iterations of that makes this SCP work, or 3 parts basically that belongs to this SCP. So here we already have a picture saying original carving on -1. Text is written in a Proto-Latin language with a previously undiscovered alphabet, dated to 53,500 BC. Okay, here we have the description, and the description is extremely short. I guess it's describing each part. Okay, never mind. It's not that short then. Because if this alone was a description, it would have been definitely short, but it is not the case. So description: SCP-1050 consists of 1 item, -1, and 2 related phenomena, -2 and 3. -1 was recovered from a secret German research facility in redacted following the conclusion of the Second World War. Gotta make sure that the music is just not too loud. Second World War. -2A was recovered from Soviet NKVD archives in 1950. -2B was recovered from British Crown archives in 1950. -1's previous origins are unknown. -1 is a large obelisk made of solid obsidian with approximate dimensions of 1.48 meters by 1.48 meters by 30.5 meters. And there's a footnote here that says these measurements correspond with the archaic length measure of the Roman passe, equal to, or Roman pace. I actually don't know how to say that because it's probably like in Italian or Latin. Equal to 1.48 meters. Dr. von Schmidt. According to obsidian hydration dating of the obelisk itself was carved approximately 48,900 years ago. Microscopic scans indicate that it is perfectly shaped at the molecular level, indicating creation requiring technology in advance of that available at the present. The obelisk is covered by a variety of writing scripts, all apparently containing the same message, and all apparently carved with the same exact precision as the obelisk itself. The surface of the obelisk appears to be subdivided into 80 1.48 meter by 1.48 meter sections, each with a distinct form of writing. Of the 80 sections, of them have been filled in. Images of several of the carvings on SCP-1050 are in the addendum 3. Linguistic analysis of the scripts indicates the following in chronological order by age, except as noted. As yet unidentified scripts bearing no resemblance to any known language or writing style, past or present. Hey, Anon, welcome. Welcome. As you can see, I'm in a different location. Different mic, different webcam, freshly bought for streaming here. Don't get used to the background. Eventually that will hopefully very soon change to a whole different background. Oh, whole different room basically, where I can customize it a bit more. My Stream Deck is now fully back online with all the sounds, stuff like that. So yeah, you haven't missed anything right now. Now we're still the first one of today's stream. You did miss yesterday's stream, or maybe you watched it by now on my Twitch or my YouTube. I don't know, but there was one really standing out one which you probably heard of. I believe it's number designation. I believe it's 1048. Build-A-Bear. That one got me fucked. That was definitely a intense one to go through. I loved it. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good SCP, but my god, dude. Was that... Just like, the thing he did made me go, ooh. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Microscopic scans indicate that it is perfectly shaped at the molecular level, indicating creation. Also, tell me if the music and my voice is like in good level. That would be very helpful. Indicating creation requiring technology in advance of that available at the present. The obelisk is covered by a variety of writings. I already read. Oh, that's why I'm down here. A script of unknown ocean dating to the creation of the obelisk, whose spelling and grammatical structure resembles early forms of ancient Latin, though the alphabet and numeral systems are completely different. Yahoo symbols, which... Look, this has so many footnotes. Look at all these footnotes I gotta fucking read through. Okay, the Yahoo symbols. Yeah, Build-A-Bear is one of the early famous ones that's always in fan games and stuff. Oh, really? Kind of makes sense. It fits for that aspect of like being in fan games, because if you think about it, like the idea of a teddy bear walking around and you think it's harmless, but then like it's a version that he built himself, and it's like really messed up. Yeah, because the whole point is the whole thing that makes it kind of creepy is not that it builds different versions of himself with different aspects or different like things that should not work. It's the fact that it's somewhere in the facility. Nobody has a clue where it is. You can literally go to the bathroom one day and be like, "I'll be right back, bro. I'm just going to take a piss," and you just walk in there, you just go to the piss wall, and you're like, "Oh yeah, ooh, that was a build up," and then you just hear like a door opening behind you, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then you just see this fucking teddy bear like just coming at you. It's like, I don't know, I would freak out, definitely. Dash 1 has provided the ability for linguists to read the previously indecipherable Jiahou symbols from ancient China, but the Foundation has not released any information relating to the Jiahou symbols to the scholarly linguistic community due to the classified nature of Dash 1. Akkadian cuneiform, Egyptian hieroglyphs, excuse me, Linear A. God. Dash 1 has provided the ability for linguists to read the previously indecipherable Linear A from the ancient Minoan culture by the Foundation. Scholar linguists, okay, same thing as before. Olmec script is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same Olmec script from the pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. Okay, gotcha. Classical Latin, early medieval Swedish runes, modern English circa 1891, modern Russian circa 1943. The scripts all appear to contain the same message. The following is the English version of the message as written on Dash 1. Footnotes provide conjectural annotation by the research team. Now footnote. With the exception of a change in the ruler and date when the message was proclaimed, again, the message appears to be identical in all languages on the obelisk. Yeah, Shy Guy, Plague Doctor, How to Destroy a Reptile, basically all of the early ones that can be summarized into scary monsters are used in almost everything. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, makes all sense, yes. But still, like, the idea of being surprised by a teddy bear made out of something. You don't even know what it's made out of until it's too late. But beware the destroyers. They come from by the millions from the realm of darkness, which extends where no stars shine, conjectured to be interstellar space, possibly intergalactic space. For 1,000 generations they slumber, lying in wait. Great nations rise and flourish. There is peace and prosperity. Then comes the dark times, then they return. They call and burn. They are warped and move beyond the pale, bigger than any man unnatural births. Every nail, claw, scale, and spur, every spiking welt on the hand of those heathen brutes is a barbed steel. It is said there is no honed iron hard enough to pierce them through, no time-proof blade that can cut their brutal blood-caked claws. Preceding description, they are warped claws appears in Beowulf. Armies are raised and cut down like grasses before a scythe. It is said the armies of Amora and Sodom, which is archaic Tiberian spelling of Sodom and Gomorrah, each 10,000 strong. Gomorrah and Sodom, yeah, I heard of those. Each 10,000 strong were swept away between a single rising and setting sun. Heroes come forth and are slaughtered. Lightning and fire rain from the sky. Wait, excuse me. Yeah. And the whole earth trembles. They are as deluge, a powerful flood that washes away entire mighty nations and empires. Possible origin of the flood myths that appear across most ancient cultures. The people pray for the deliverance from the gods. The gods provide destroyers, but their efforts are in vain. Iapetos, ancient Greek titan, son of Uranus and Gaia, father of Atlas, Prometheus, Epimetheus, and ancestor of the human race through Prometheus. Titan of mortal life, he was imprisoned in Tartarus by the Olympians. A lot of Titans were imprisoned Tartarus. Tartarus was just a Titan prison at the end. Ausare, archaic form of Osiris. Okay. Ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife, underworld, and the dead. He was killed by Seth, and then his body part was separated and destroyed and spread around and all that stuff. Turned into 14 pieces, which were then scattered throughout the land. Ihicatl, pre-Columbian Aztec wind deity associated with the Quetzalcoatl, yeah, exactly, or Kukulkan, in an easier way to say it. Cao Chang, defied ancient Chinese general more commonly known as Guan Yu. Yes, okay, these are all different myths, different pantheons. All perish. The destroyers are to the gods as the gods are to men, and men are to insects, cold and vast and unsympathetic. The wise flee them, the lucky escape. 50 score great vessels were launched to seek refuge from them, and only those led by Satyavrata, which is initial name of the Hindu figure Manu. Okay, believed to be the first king to rule the earth, having saved mankind from the universal flood. Utnapishtim survived the flood myth in the Epic of Gilgamesh, so even that those legends are involved. Noach, archaic explain of the Noah from the Abrahamic flood of the myths, and Deucalion, a son of Prometheus in Greek myths. He and his wife Pyrrha survived the Greek mythical flood by building a chest. The Dark Ones vanquished all before them. They have come before since before time began. Now they slumber. They will return before the destroyers. And now a bunch of numbers: 1357 of 13057935897, and Idicarian extinction event 542 million years ago. 13057 212 1305082 937. I'm not gonna say all the numbers. That number 20 Endotemian extinction event 517 million years ago. That one, Despachian extinction event 502 million years ago. Otovican extinction event 445 million years ago. Ivekian event 428 million years ago. Mold event 424 million years ago. Law event 420 million years ago. And Silurian extinction event 416 million years ago. Late Devonian extinction event 367 million years ago. Carboniferous rainforest collapse 318 million years ago. Olsen's extinction event 270 million years ago. Permian Triassic extinction event 251 million years ago. Triassic Jurassic extinction event 205 million years ago. Torsian turnover 183 million years ago. And you lost me. I'm over here, yeah. There's so many footnotes. And Jurassic extinction event, 145.5 million years ago. Aptian extinction event, 117 million years ago. Cretaceous, Tertiary extinction event, 65.5 million years ago. Dinosaurs go extinct. Not the dinos. Eocene Oligocene extinction event, 33.9 million years ago. Middle Miocene disruption, 14.5 million years ago. Quaternary extinction event, approximately 50,000 years ago. Possible data range, data expunged by O5 command. Proclaimed again by Her Majesty Victoria by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of the Great Britain and Ireland Queen, defender of the faith, Empress of India, in the year of our Lord 1891. The end of the message is different for each time it is written, varying by which ruler proclaimed again the message and by altering the date accordingly. Testing has revealed the dates of the carving of different messages to correspond with the approximate dating provided by the different iteration of the message. So far, Foundation researchers have identified the following rulers. Legatus Maximus Romulus, 53,500 BCE, original carving Proto-Latin with alternate alphabet. King Gilgamesh of Uruk, 2500 BCE, Akkadian cuneiform. Pharaoh Kaur Senusret, third of the Egyptian Middle Kingdom, 1850 BCE, Egyptian hieroglyphs. King Midas of King Midas of Minoa, 800 BCE, Linear A. Caesar Publius alias Trainius Hadriani Augusti, Emperor Hadrian of Rome, 122 CE, Classical Latin. King Eric the Victorious of Sweden, 985 CE, early medieval Swedish runes. Queen Victoria of Great Britain, 1891 CE, modern English. Premier Joseph Stalin of the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics, 1953 CE, modern Russia, most recent carving. The meaning of the series of numbers appearing in the message is not known for certain. However, if assumed to be standard Earth years from the date of the Big Bang, then the numbers follow a pattern consistent with within four significant figures, with a major extinction event in the planet's history, followed by a date roughly 50,000 years later. Extensive investigation into a prehistoric extinction event has thus far failed to definitely confirm a connection between the events, but has similarly failed to disprove such a connection. Dash 1 also emits Dash 3 from its apex, despite apparently having a composition of solid obsidian. That was all Dash 1. We got Dash 2 and Dash 3 and addendums to read through now. Dash 2 consists of documents with text equivalent to carvings on Dash 1, apparently written by the rulers alleged by Dash 1 to have proclaimed the message. The existence of Dash 2 was discovered when the Russian message apparently proclaimed by Stalin mysteriously appeared on Dash 1 overnight, while the obelisk was in a Nazi research lab during the Second World War in 1943. SS researchers discovering the mysteriously added new message reported the development to the superior, but no evidence for the origin of the new carving was ever determined by the Nazi research team. Dash 2A, a version of the message written in Stalin's handwriting, was discovered after the war by Foundation operatives. It was located in the archives of the Soviet People's Ministry of Internal Affairs, NKVD, though there is no clear indication whether Stalin ever actually wrote the message. Dash 2B, a handwritten version of the message apparently written by Queen Victoria, was recovered from British archives in 1950, where it had apparently been filed without notice. Apart from the fact that both Dash 2A and Dash 2B match handwriting samples of their respective apparent authors, and both seem to have appeared without explanation, no anomalous properties have been ever noted in Dash 2. No further instances of Dash 2 have been uncovered to date. And here we go with Dash 3, the last one. Okay. Dash 3 consists of a series of radio messages uncovered at different times by radio telescopes on 4 continents, and in orbit these messages consist of the following, and here you go. Calcui Destrunt, and all these numbers that I'm not gonna read. The numbers have been determined to be a base 8 octal representation of the 40 base 10 decimal integers in the obelisk message, preceded by another 60 integers. I don't know. Integers? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. And that might be just because I'm fucking tired from the all night I did last night, but integers. Jesus Christ, somebody's driving crazy outside. Integers. Following a similar pattern, it is hypothesized that these numbers may refer to additional events not documented in Earth's paleogeological history. The Proto-Latin message translates roughly to beware the destroyers. -1 emits -3 from its apex. -3 has also been received from other directions in space, including data expunged. These are received as occasional pulses of 1, 2, 3 repetitions of the -3 message, suggesting similar directional broadcasts to those emanating from -1 being transmitted from rotating planets orbiting other stars. Addendum: speculation by the SCP-1050 research team 19. SCP-1050 appears to be part of interstellar early warning system of unknown origin. Before the invention of more modern forms of rapid communication, some societies with light bonfires atop watchtowers, which would then be observed by the next watchtower, which would then light its own bonfire, and so on. By this method, a warning of an invading army could be passed along tens of hundreds of miles in hours rather than days. It seems to the researchers team that SCP-1050 may be something similar, which would explain the signal we designated -3. Similarly, by having the message written in the obelisk in dozens of languages and apparently proclaimed by major political rulers of the time, it would increase the likelihood of societies being forewarned about the destroyers, whomever or whatever they may be. -2 might be a means of spurring the governments of major political powers to action, though due to the fact that this warning has not been visibly taken seriously or even publicly acknowledged, suggests that this has not occurred historically. While it may be attractive to assume such defensive measures as Hadrian Wall or military build-up by the Nazis were due to preparing to meet some shadowy preternatural threat, no other historical evidence supports this conclusion. Oh shit, there's more. Then 2. Note on containment procedures. Since the Foundation came into possession of -1 in 1940, O5 Command has twice amended the special containment procedures, initially requiring the blocking of radio signals, 1940. Then requiring that radio signals not be blocked, 1960. Then requiring that they be blocked, 1980. These changes have resulted not from alterations in -1, but rather from changes in the perceived threat posed by -1's radio transmissions. The rationale behind blocking -1's broadcast of -3 is that it decreases the likelihood of drawing attention to Earth by removing this planet from the theorized early warning network. The rationale behind not blocking the signal is that if the theories about the possibility of future extinction events being caused by the mentioned destroyers are correct, then this planet has some degree of obligation to warn other planets in danger. At present, the risks of broadcasting the signal are believed to outweigh the benefits. Select images of a carving from SCP-1050. There's a lot. Okay, what do we have here? Zoomed in detail of original carving on -1 text is written in the Proto-Latin language with a previously undiscovered alphabet dated to 53,500 BCE. Yeah, these are all the different handwritings. Carving is written in undefined script of unknown origin. Then we have zoomed in detail of carving. Text is written in undefined script of unknown origin. Carving on -1 text is written in undefined script of unknown origin. Zoomed in the text is written in unidentified. Carving is in Arcadian cuneiform. Okay, Zooming detail text is written. Okay, uniform. Okay. It's written in linear A. Written in linear A. It's written in classical Latin. -1 unidentified Mesoamerican script. Just it's written in Mesoamerican script. Mesoamerican script is written in Mesoamerican script, and it's written in modern English, dated 1891 CE. Can we actually see that? Beware the destroyers. Okay, yeah. It's actually written in. Somebody did a really good job editing this. Okay. This is a bit awkward. You know, there are a few recipes that really make you wonder how the hell hasn't the world ended yet. I mean, the fact that all these SCPs are existing in the same time, on the same, majority of them on the same planet, it does make you wonder how the whole entire Earth is not just exploded by now. That's what I would think if I just saw how many, like, 1,000 SCPs living on this. Again, some of them are in different realities, some of them have nothing to do with doing a lot of damage to the world or something like that, but there's a lot of SCPs where I'm just like, just a combination of all these together alone should just make the whole world burn, but apparently not. Nevadan extraterrestrial. Okay, what could this be? So, I wonder if the Nevadan if that's like a red herring, because I'm thinking of like an alien that just presides in Nevada, just decides to like chill there. Like, oh, I've been here for like a couple of years now and made myself comfortable, made myself at home. Just, you know, I think out of all the states, I've been to Nevada. Not the most comfortable place to live out of all the states you could pick. So if it is an alien that just decides to just chill in Nevada, you could have picked any other place, my man. But let's see. I mean, there's some interview sections. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Euclid. Due to SCP-1051's main danger being information leakage, efforts towards containment have been placed into denial or falsification of rumors surrounding its existence. Agents are to be reminded that any reference towards SCP-1051 or similar concepts during interaction with a civilian, whether online or offline, are to be met with ridicule and or denial. Knowledge beyond current cultural information may require the application of a class A amnestic. Okay, so they really... I mean, the fact that they say like, hey, don't talk about it, should be the norm with any SCP. Like, which SCP is okay to talk about? There's even like the most smallest SCP, you can't really, you know, go out there and be like, oh my god, like, we found this piece of paper with a drawing on it and it moves. you know what I mean? Like, you can't really go around talking to people about that. So I feel like the fact that like the containment procedure is like, don't talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I think majority of the Foundation knows that's the case, right? SCP-1051 is to be patrolled by no less than 20 personnel dressed in uniforms superficially resembling that of the United States Air Force in a 2-kilometer radius surrounding SCP-1051. Intruders into this radius are to be shot. Personnel are reminded that to not injure intruders, but only shoot a sufficient amount to repel them. Oh, okay, like rubber bullets. Repeated attempts at entry or entry beyond a 1-kilometer radius will result in the application of a Class A amnestic. Satellites orbiting over near SCP-1051 are to have their transmissions monitored for suspected interference. Any antennae discovered in a 10-kilometer radius around SCP-1051 with no known purposes are to be either destroyed or surrounded by a Faraday cage. Description: SCP-1051 is a large, immobile organism, presumably extraterrestrial in origin. Its shell measures approximately 700 meters by 500 meters by 60 meters. That's a big boy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm yawning this much. It's like, I'm pretty sure if I had G food in the morning like yesterday, I would not be yawning. But in the same time, I did go to bed at 5 in the morning after drinking a Monster on stream yesterday. So, SCP-1051 is an ambush predator in nature and lures its prey using a variety of sociological and psychological manipulation. Is this it? Is this Pennywise? Is he just decided to just infiltrate the SCP Foundation world? Is this what's happening? SCP-1051 has a shell that mimics large structures. For the past years, SCP-1051 has remained in appearance to an aircraft hangar. SCP-1051 will periodically produce and launch eggs, see above, from itself. They are elliptical in design but are flattened at the bottom to make a domed shape. This is presumably for ease of travel through terrestrial atmospheres. Currently, out of eggs have successfully been reclaimed by Foundation personnel. Eggs not intercepted by Foundation personnel have been ejected out of Earth's atmosphere and are irretrievable. SCP-1051 will frequently attempt to connect with orbiting satellites in order to send television signals, images, or a variety of other media forms. SCP-1051 currently has a 20% success rate in connection. SCP-1051 may also transmit radio signals or connect to telephone lines. SCP-1051 arrived on Earth in 1940 in an egg. It was originally discovered by the United States Air Force, which transported it to Nevada. SCP-1051 did not come into the Foundation attention until 1950, following a distress signal by Air Force personnel stationed at Addendum 1, Anatomy of SCP-1051. So here we have apparently the anatomy. Aerial photograph of SCP-1051 taken in 1950. Note that the majority of SCP-1051 is underground. Majority. Okay. I'm so sorry. I don't want to yawn this whole time. So number 1 here we have mouth of SCP-1051. Doors to SCP-1051 shut and prey is pushed deeper into SCP-1051. So the entrance is the mouth. The mouth. Then we have number 2, which is here. Gizzard of SCP-1051. Grinds prey into fine paste before digesting. Oh, lovely. Number 3, so with the left side, stomach of SCP-1051 digests prey into nutrients and waste products. Number 4 is the sphincter and waste tube of SCP-1051. Nutrients are sent to the point 5 while waste product is released through southern cavity. Number 5 is up there, brain of SCP-1051. Number 6 is that little thing over there, distributing organ of SCP-1051. Note that this organ extends several different antennae and wires on the ground, allowing it to connect to various phone lines, emit radio transmissions, and connect to satellites. Foundation personnel have only been able to discover of the presumed antennae SCP-1051 utilizes above ground. 7, that's the last one, presumed to be a tongue of SCP-1051. An analysis of this paved area has shown fine indentation in the concrete, suggesting that SCP-1051 may have taste buds. 19. This was confirmed after SCP-1051 retracted its momentarily following a chemical spill, giving its appearance of a disappearing airstrip. Addendum 2. Transmission successfully distributed by SCP-1051. By the way, I did not say anything yet, but can we just talk about how huge this guy is? This guy is massive, man. He's massive. It's this guy. This one. When I thought about an alien, I felt like it's just the typical, like humans. Of course, that's like what a lot of like films and video games have done, where the aliens are like just regular sized, like human sized height and all that. But this alien decided to like not only be big, but also to just pretend to be a docking station for plates. Okay. Information of various spacecraft. Repeated uploading of various false information to various conspiracy websites included. Information of various spacecraft being reverse engineered itself. Various men in black theories of extraterrestrial contact. Where does this lead? Ah, okay, yeah. It's used as testing for the following items: exotic energy weapons, void controlling devices, time and teleportation machines, and impossible propulsion systems. Various messages in radio and television transmission regarding its use by a shadow government. Note: this is considered a high-level information leak. Class A amnestic are authorized for use dependent on the level of classified information. Calls to several production studios in California. Dozens of calls, faxes, and emails to the National Inquiry offices have been monitored by Foundation personnel since 1980. Imagine arriving late to your flight only to get fucking eaten as soon as you enter the airport. Oh no, honey, we gotta go. Is it just me or is the floor moving? You're just imagining it. Musk also officially revealed its existence and to the U.S. military intelligence. And now we have a couple interviews with Addendum 3. Interviewed SCP-1051. Interviewer Dr. Richardson. A small radio apparatus was set up nearby SCP-1051, distributing organ in an attempt to communicate with it. Agent found SCP-1051 distributing frequency at a time after 2 hours of scanning. Okay, so what kind of voice do we give these? Okay, Dr. Richardson, I'm gonna give him this type of voice. Hello, 1051, can you hear me? Give. Pardon? Give. Give what? Want to feed. You don't get any food. Area 51 is currently being controlled by the SCP Foundation, a shadow government organization that has designated it SCP-1051. Here are a few names of the operatives. Send out D7238. One D-class personnel is sent into SCP-1051's mouth. Now, why are you sending out these signals? Bring food. What do you mean? Learn human curious, make curious. What about those discs we captured? Catch baby. An audible groan can be heard coming from SCP-1051's brain. They're eggs. You reproduce that way. 2-minute pause. Dr. Richardson's Asian Adler, Asian Crescent. Its coordinates are following. Data expunged. And our closing statement, SCP-1051 proved to be highly uncooperative following the interview. All attempts to destroy SCP-1051's distributing organ met with failure. You can't even kill it, dude. You can't even kill it. So we have now Sergeant James Berenson and Dr. Richardson again. Sergeant Berenson sent out the distress signal received by Foundation personnel that led to discovery of SCP-1051. Good afternoon, Sergeant. Good afternoon. You were working in Area 51, yes? The Air Force Base? Yes. And what projects were you assigned to? Security and regulation of research regarding the unidentified flying object recovered from Roswell in 1947. And what was the object itself? White, dome-shaped meteorite. What did they discover during research? The meteorite was hollow, but filled with some kind of liquid. Something that was very slowly moving around inside of it. And how long did study of the object take place? Years. It would have continued longer but was interrupted, yes? Yes. You were the one that sent out the distress signal? Yes. Why? The meteorite hatched. Pardon? The meteorite hatched. It was an egg. And that's when you sent out the distress signal? Yes. Can you describe the incident in more detail? Dr. James, Dr. Gold and I were working late. We heard a cracking noise and looked at the object. A crab began to appear along it. We were surprised, so we just stared. Then after about 5 more minutes of cracking, it broke through the shell. It? The alien. We began to run, but something snaked out of the shell and grabbed Dr. James. Then it absorbed him. Dr. Gold and I both escaped out of the hangar. That's when I sent out the distress signal. What happened then? As I was finishing signaling, Dr. Gold tapped me on the shoulder and pointed at the hangar. I turned to look and saw it shaking. Then it expanded a bit and collapsed. Inside we could see it wrapping around. Was Dr. James there? No. The alien then began to form a shell around itself. The shell moved around a little, then it suddenly looked like the hangar. Is that it? After that, your men arrived and took me in for questioning. Alright, thank you for your time, Sergeant. Closing statement, I'll have to have a chat with this Dr. Gold. I have a hunch. Oh, yeah. Shit. Make my body loose. Foot loose. Got loose. Okay. Dr. Gold is one of the original researchers of SCP-1051. Good evening, Doctor. Yourself. I'd like to ask some questions about Dr. James. He was a good friend of mine. I'm sure this is hard for you. It's fine. Go on. What were Dr. James' interests? I suppose his interest was his job, a real sci-fi nut. Really? Dr. James always liked to go on about stuff from other worlds, new technologies. Hell, he could have been a writer for all those B movies you see in the cinema. What was his opinion on the military? Well, he was working for them, of course, so he kept this under your hat. But Dr. James honestly thought that they actually already had aliens. Where do you think they had kept the extraterrestrial? He didn't mention it. Or he just didn't know. Probably figured out that if we already had a secret meteorite, we must have had an honest-to-God spacecraft somewhere. Kept secret. I have one more thing, Doctor. Go on. Does anything about this seem familiar? Dr. Richardson plays tape recording of interview -1. Where did you get this? Why do you ask? That voice, it's Dr. James. Thank you for your time, Doctor. No, wait. End log. Dr. Gold was escorted out by security personnel. Oh. So, I assume Dr. Richardson's theory or hunch is that Dr. James has become one with this extraterrestrial. Like, there seems to... Maybe that Dr. James had some sort of... Maybe not that. Maybe Dr. James had some sort of information about the other aliens that they have, and the alien ate him and now has his voice and memories. That's why, like, okay, maybe I assume that's what it is. Like, he just figured out why the alien wants to eat people is because like his brethren or children are being in capture right now. That's my hunch. That's my hunch on Dr. Richardson's hunch, basically. Next one's called Anna, and that's not a title I can work with, so we're just gonna go on. Well, today is a bit of a longer read. Fantastic, and I'm a bit tired, so that's gonna be a bit tough, but I'll try my best, guys. I'll try my best. SCP-1052 is to be stored within a lit, sealed locker located in Area Blue 13, Site 45. A miniaturized CCTV camera is to be placed within the locker, with checks made every evening by surveillance officers to ensure that the object has not been displaced. All and any mail, electronic or physical that arrived at Site 45 is to be examined by security personnel. During this examination, should any letter, envelope or folded notes be found to be addressed to Anna, or should any of the contents be directed towards this named entity, They are to be compiled and forwarded to Assistant Researcher Miss M. Joshua, who will note down all, if any, possible indications that the sender is aware of the existence of the Foundation or possesses any knowledge of SCP-1052's natures beyond the reference to its name as Anna. In the event that the reference indicating further knowledge is found, a retrieval team should be dispatched to the residence of the sender, whereupon the sender will be brought in for questioning possible neutralization. The contents of the letters are to be entered into the site database under the Foundation Materials Safe SCP-1052, whereas physical letters themselves are to be disposed of in the on-site paper shredder. Note that pleas and prayers do not count as an awareness of the existence of the specimen, as this has been noted to be a typical characteristic of most of the letters. Security personnel are also to check the bi-weekly internet word filter records for any instances where the term Anna is used in the same context as any of the Foundation buzzwords, a list of which can be found in the compilation put together by Foundation linguistic experts. Note, due to the nature of Site-45 having been upgraded recently to a higher threat level, it is advisable that SCP-1052 be moved to a secure facility that does not contain weaponizable SCP objects. This specimen presents a constant leak in security which may compromise the safety of the site and the containment of other on-site specimens, Dr. Lim. So we have the previous one that was a leak of information, and now we have a leak of security one. SCP-1052 is a lady's hand mirror, approximately 5 inches in diameter, gilded with a gold leaf along the sides of the fucking fruit fly. Of the handle and around the mirror itself. The handle and head of the mirror are made of solid brass, whereas the dowel used to connect the sections together is made of wood. Its make has been estimated by Foundation historical experts to be late 16th century, possibly of French origins due to the ornamentation of the frame in the Baroque style popular during the period of 1543 and 1602. Inscribed upon the blank side of the hand mirror in French are the words Chère Anna, in English Dear Anna. Located 2 inches from the head of the mirror, carved into the wood of the dowel, is a female figure approximately 30 years of age. She appears to be wearing a tertiary's habit and holding lilies intertwined with a crucifix in her hands. The mirror itself displays no anomalous properties other than letter receiving. SCP-1052 is the recipient of numerous letters written by individuals who have been diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, where Anna is the subject to whom the letters have been addressed. Researchers have been able to deduce after analyzing the contents of the letters that some senders view Anna as a physical manifestation of their illness. Whereas other appears to have attributed to Anna a quasi-divine status, petitioning her for comfort and strength to resist consuming food. It is currently unknown how letters addressed to SCP-1052 reached the recipient, despite the many senders initially apprehended displaying no knowledge whatsoever about the Foundation. SCP-1052 dates back in Foundation records into the earliest available at Level 3 clearance, thus it is likely that it has been in possession of the Foundation for at least over a century. Further unofficial records state that it was passed on to Foundation personnel by Redacted, who was at the time an associate of the Foundation due to the circumstances of its retrieval. Current containment procedures had been in effect since 1948, when Site-26 was hit by TOC forces after a security leak, which was brought on by the interception of one of the letters addressed in SCP-1052. The connection between the object and the letters was made after SCP-1052 was transferred to Site-54 in the aftermath of Site-26 destruction, and the letters continued being sent now instead of posted to the location of Site-54. Current investigation is being undertaken by in-field operatives working with the TOC in order to ascertain if SCP-1052 is indeed a form of tracking device planned by the organization. And here we have a couple addendums. Addendum A, contents of a letter to Anna dated 21st of September 2003. Dear Anna, fuck you. Okay, well, hold on. No. No. If we're gonna do this for the typical like, dear Anna, fuck you. You ruined my life. I lost my family, my friends, my love, all burned down my throat in the spiral of this toilet bowl. Today as my fingers stabbed and scraped the back of my throat and as acid fire leapt through the back of my eyes, I realized I hate you. You've taken everything from me. Cast me aside like a rag doll. Looked at me at disdain. Why? Why? Because I'm still too fat? Because these bones still don't break through my skin? Something came up, gotta go. I'll catch up later. No problem. Can't you see that you've broken me? That you've raped my throat until I can't speak to others anymore? That you've scratched my mind until all I could think of is you? Beautiful, wonderful you? I love you, Anna. I love you. I love you. You're so beautiful. I want to be like you. I want to be you. I want to taste nothing but the cool air in my stomach, feeling as it collapses on itself, searching for sin. I want to dance on empty air, float and fly in my weightlessness, die choking on my own vomit one night so I can be with you. Anna, please don't leave me. Don't abandon me. I cry out to you every night, ignoring the pleas of my family. The sheep around me, they don't know you as I do. You all I have left. Let me leave this world, Anna. Hug me close as you pull me off the edge, please. It's so cold and lonely here, but nobody else is, and I feel faint. I may fall at any moment, but I don't think I want to be fall by myself. I don't want to die. Please bring me away. Anna, please make me thin. Please let the whispers stop. I know they're saying that I'm not good enough, but my flesh still wrapped under my skin. Please make it painless. Love, Faithful. Faithful is probably one way to describe this person, I guess. Knows. Let me just check some stuff. Okay. Excuse me. Interview with Mr. Sender of 36 letters to the both sides 54 and 45. Subject, okay. So this is an interview. Hey, who the hell are you guys? What the fuck am I doing here? Assistant researcher. Calm down, Mr. Anderson. We're here to ask a few questions, maybe even help you. Help me with what? Oh god, is this about that? I told you, you fuckers, I'm fine. I've been better than I've ever been. The doctors don't know shit. She helped me become who I always want to be. So you can damn well fuck off and tell whoever put you up to this that they can stick their noses back into their own business. Mister, do you understand that you've been sending letters to a secure government facility? One that you should have no knowledge of? Is Delilah? Was she the one that put you up to this shit? Mister, we need you to pay attention. I don't want to have to make this difficult for you, but we will. If you continue to be uncooperative. Silence for approximately 1 minute. Let me cut to the chase. How have you been sending these letters to us? I don't know what you're talking about. Your letters to Anna. How have you known where to send them to? Silence for approximately 1 minute. Answer the question, goddammit. Subject begins to break down and cry. She sent me the first letter. She told me I wasn't good enough. She voiced the words in my mind that have been eating away at me. I had to speak to her, to feel the coldness of her gaze. Please, I need to talk to her, to apologize, to tell her I'm sorry for not being the bones I should be. Please. Did she send any more letters? She would tell me after each letter I sent how broken and flawed I was, how fat I am, how I need to do more. She congratulated me once for trying to cut open my belly, but she never. I need to speak to her. I need her love, her embrace. Where are these letters? In my home. Please do not know. Please, do you know where she is? Can you let me talk to her? I need to tell her what I did. What did you do? Enough. I did enough. All for her. Anna, I did this all for you. We're going next. If there's another interview, we're gonna make the next guy creep. Oh, there's nothing. Letter 3 from home of of Mr. Dear, you are not. Wait, dear, you are not yet nothing. You're still an eternity away from it. Don't try to hide behind the doctors and your people. I can still see you. You rolls of fat draped about your body. You don't deserve to hear from me. If this goes on, I will simply have to give up on you. But there's still hope, my beautiful son. Isn't that wonderful? Keep going, keep striving, and maybe one day you'll be good enough for me. Then, and finally then, shall I love you? Anna. Wow, she's a bitch. A bitch. Okay, addendum C, log of incident 1. In January 2000, senior researcher gained access to SCP-1052 during on-site research. However, due to less stringent measures implemented than regarding the personal lives of the researcher, it was overlooked that his own biological daughter as a Mrs. was one of those who had sent letters to SCP-1052. Mrs. was 16 at the time and had suffered from anorexia nervosa for approximately 4 years. So 12? Resulting in 2 recorded hospital stays and prolonged visits to various mental institutions. It is likely that senior researcher, at the time distraught over the actions of his daughter, attempted to decommission SCP-1052 without the authority to do so. However, 2 days before his scheduled experiment with SCP-1052, which would have involved him spending time alone with the object while observed by third parties, senior researcher was found murdered in his home. Oh no. Subsequent researches of his home by Foundation personnel turned up a series of letters going back and forth between Miss and Anna. The last letter from Anna informed Miss that it was in danger due to her father. Oh no. Miss has since been detained by the Foundation and is currently undergoing psychiatric treatment and confinement in Foundation Mental Health Complex. It is thus presumed that either SCP-1052 or the letters it produces are mild cognitive hazards and that the danger posed by the object is higher than previously suspected. Changing of the object class from safe to nuclear is currently under consideration. Wait, was it now? Right now? Is it? It's considered safe. True. Yeah. Okay. But the fact that it like leaks information like that, because that's why it's like a leak of information, because it sends letters out to people and then people send letters to the Foundation, which is not supposed to be possible. But Anna, you are a cunt, a bitch, big fat bitch. Yeah, call her fat. Let's see how she likes it. Let's see how she wants to hear that, and maybe then I don't know. Don't do that. Don't. That's not a way to solve a situation. But just saying, overpopulation. Yeah, I mean, again, that doesn't sound like an SCP. That sounds like a real life problem. But in the same time, SCP-wise, what could this be? It could be a situation where a town or a city has way too many people. Like, there's too many people in that town or city. But even though there's too many people, they all seem to live perfectly fine. And sometimes people just vanish but come back again. Like, they just kind of despawn and respawn again. That's gonna be my theory. Oh, it's Keita. Fuck. I think my theory is not Keita enough. Due to the destructive properties of SCP-1053, it is currently isolated in Area 1553. Mobile Task Force Omicron 7 bounce houses. It's always on alert, stationed outside of Area 1053 in order to end emergence events. SCP-1053 itself is encased in a steel box with a sensitive scale below it in order to act as an early warning system for emergence events. Purposeful testing with SCP-1053 has been discontinued, and as such, this access is prohibited under normal circumstances. SCP-1053 appears to be a street map of redacted, centered on the most urban portions of the city. The date on the map as well as its features are consistent with the year 19. Under most circumstances, the map is mundane, excepting the mild regenerative properties it possesses. See below. The map is made out of paper and samples have shown no anomalous properties. Unfolded, SCP-1053 is 0.25 meters times 0.4 meters and folds to 8 centimeters times 5 centimeters. Periodically, thanks to the research by Dr. The Foundation has concluded that emergence events occur when the nation of Redacted nets approximately 1,000 new inhabitants. Efforts are currently being taken to keep Redacted stagnant. So periodically, SCP-1053 will cause a lamed gamma level spatial anomaly known as emergence events. Land within a 50-meter radius of SCP-1053 will begin to change into streets, buildings, sidewalks, and other scenery consistent with the city of Redacted in 19. Actual landmark street names or neighborhoods from Redacted do not exist. Rather small details such as street lamps, the style of buildings, etc. are pieced together to form this new area. Here, after ground 1053, scenery inside of ground 1053, actually, let's just keep saying that, has been described as extremely urban, or a nest of streets, and subjects have detailed the entire place as being a twist of asphalt and dirt streets, narrow roads, and tall grass buildings. The radius of ground 1053 expands quite slowly, although external viewing of ground 1053 is inaccurate due to the fact that ground 1053 is a spatial anomaly. Measurements can be taken for its external area and still be accurate. However, subjects inside the ground 1053 have reported that it's much bigger than it appears on the outside. Calculations have placed the internal size of approximately % of the external size, although it is possible that the internal size is highly fluctuating, which would allow the estimation to have a margin of error as high as 15%. Okay. The weather inside of ground 153 is similar to the weather outside of it, although raindrops and snowflakes do multiply as they enter the area, keeping them at normal size. Other natural forces do affect ground 153, however, natural phenomena such as lightning, rain, snow, and wind do not appear abnormal. No organisms have ever been encountered inside of ground 153. Empty places of residence such as apartments and condominiums have been encountered. However, no personal belongings have been discovered inside of these residences. Dressers are present, but empty walls are barren from wallpaper or pictures, etc. After Incident 1, it has been concluded that once sufficient damage is dealt to SCP-1053, ground 1053 will immediately stop expanding within less than 30% of the time it took for ground 1053 to be created. The entire area will fully disintegrate. During retrieval time, SCP-1053 usually is fully repaired by unknown means. The state of SCP-1053 before the expansion of ground 1053 has no effect on the growth. Rather, the difference of the condition of SCP-1053 before ground 1053 is generated is directly proportional to the amount of damage that must be dealt to SCP-1053 for ground 1053 to disintegrate. It is speculated that SCP-1053 were to sustain enough damage prior to the generation of the ground 1053, stopping it from expanding would become impossible, causing a CK end of the world scenario. Oh boy. MTF Omicron Bounce Houses is tasked with entering ground 1053 during emergence events. Rapid response is key in ending emergence events. As the longer ground 1053 has to expand, the area needed to be covered in order to reach SCP-1053 will increase exponentially. In addition, technological capabilities inside of ground 1053 have been greatly inhibited for unknown reasons. To date, 2000, the farthest the ground 1053 has reached externally is kilometers. Well, it's a double-digit kilometer, which means they've definitely expanded pretty far. That's a problem. Alright. The God Gnome. So, The fact that garden is in quotation marks, I think that right. Well, it's not really quotation marks, but it is definitely highlighted in some way or another. I wonder if that means that the garden is the false part, or the gnome is the false part. I guess I guess it is a garden at the end, but I guess the whole point is that, like, even though it's a garden gnome, it doesn't really stay on the garden. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this one. The garden gnome could mean that maybe it's a gnome that makes everything into a garden, or it's a gnome that just doesn't stay on a garden ever. Like, the moment you try to put down the garden and you go back in the house and you look out to see where the gnome is, it's gone. It just hates garden. Maybe that's it. Who knows? That's further down the line, so let's ignore that. Safe. SCP-1054 should be kept in a 3 meter cubed steel coated cell, which is to be sealed at all times except for when testing is taking place. The steel door that is used to access the cell should be airtight as to not allow for the astroturf to grow outside the door. SCP-1054 is a ceramic garden gnome, 32 centimeters in height and 14 centimeters in width. It has a white beard, a red hat, and is sitting on a sack of unknown contents. Basically how, like, most typical garden gnomes look like. It's playing a wooden flute-like instrument and is in a dance-like position. On the base of SCP-1054, the garden gnome is written in a thick black pen. Note that the word garden is in inverted commas. That's what it is. It's not quotation marks, it's inverted commas. But why? Why? SCP-1054 effect become noticeable when it is left in the same place for just over an hour. After approximately 63 minutes, green plastic blades of fake grass will start growing out of the ground around the base of the gnome. No matter what the surface that the sculpture is standing on, the grass will spread at a rate of 1 centimeter per square per 30 seconds in every direction. So okay. So yeah, it just creates. That was one of my guesses. Just create a garden around it. This will continue until it meets a wall or object, at which point the growth will stop. If there are objects on the surface that the grass is spreading on, it will simply grow around it, leaving a clear patch of floor underneath. If the object is removed and the gnome remains on the surface, the grass will grow over the clear patch. Plastic flowers, trees, and other plants will sometimes grow from the ground. Every so often as the grass grows, a conscious life form, hereby known as -1, will grow too. Oh, great. That's where, like, before I was like, this sounds pretty pleasant. It just makes you basically just creates a garden for you, and all you gotta do is build walls so you can have like a U-shaped garden. That's nice, but now of course it also creates something else. So here we go. -1 have appeared in many forms, all being well-known garden ornaments. Known forms of -1 include pink plastic flamingos. It is known that instead of legs, this specimen has one thin pole stuck into the ground. The specimen cannot walk, but it has full capable movement of its wings, neck, and beak. So a flamingo that's just like looking around and flapping. Garden gnomes. These gnomes vary in looks and clothing, but none are the same as SCP-1054. Digging dogs. The specimen of -1 is a dog with the front half of its body buried into the ground. It can move its back legs and tail, but cannot move from the spot it appears in. The fact that, like, it's just moving its tail while it's just like half of its body is on the ground, so it's adorable. Bird baths. The specimen is made out of marble with small 5 centimeter tall birds around the rim. These birds can fly but seem to want to stay around the bird bath and become agitated when taken away. Addendum. The gnomes that grow as -1, if left long enough, begin making houses and huts out of various materials. Just starts fucking growing shit. We're gonna use this garden as our own home now. These materials all come from sacs that sometimes grow with the gnomes. They seem to have a routine daily life, such as conversing with other gnomes, building structures, and other jobs. Once every 5 hours, approximately, all gnomes in front of SB-1054 and perform. All gnomes gather in front of SB-1054 and perform religious rituals such as praying and worshipping it. Well, I guess yeah, it gave them life basically, so it makes sense that they would do that. That was a fun little one. Nothing like too problematic. Of course, you don't want any regular human being to see that, but it's nothing like too problematic to like deal with. It's not deadly, that's for sure. Bugsy. Like Bugs Bunny? It does, but Bugsy also sounds like something. Like I feel like I heard that before. That was not SCP related. Like I heard that name Bugsy before. Maybe it is like Bugsy as in like Bugs Bunny, or maybe it's like something that just sounds similar, like Boxy. That one YouTuber from way back in the day. My name is Boxy. Like damn, that I remember like watching those videos and like I thought she was cute back then, and then like looking at the comments and seeing everybody like man, she must be on drugs. Like it's so crazy to think about how like Boxy back then initiated the the theory that like she must be high, while so many actual YouTubers might be high nowadays, but people just be like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. He's a cool guy. I like him. It's my style of content. It's just so weird. But yeah, I don't know. Ooh, keto. How much information? Oh boy. Okay, just wanna. It's not much. I'm just trying to like keep the energy flowing because you know I am tired, but we're halfway through, so and this is a short one, so this is it's gonna be a good read. Okay, here we go. SCP-1055 is an info hazard. Information in this document is presented strictly on a need-to-know basis for containment personnel. Accessing additional information requires level 5 approval and accepts the risks of creating a containment breach. SCP-1055 living quarters are accessible via subterranean monorail from Site 77. 2 personnel are responsible for providing care to SCP-1055 are to be rotated in every 8 hours for 24-hour observation. SCP-1055 living quarters contain a playroom with television, futon and sound system, a washroom, a library stocked with children's books, and a kitchen. Staff are encouraged to provide any meal SCP-1055 asks for within appropriate nutritional guidelines. If current supplies do not meet requirements, substitutions of pasta or sugary cereals are commonly accepted. SCP-1055 will fixate upon a random object, currently a teddy bear referred to as Bugsy, and clutch it tightly at all times. Okay, so the title of the SCP is a teddy bear that the SCP has? Staff must not allow and encourage this behavior even during bathing and feeding. SCP-1055 may vocalize unhappiness or deliver warnings on behalf of this object. Any requests concerning this object must be met by all possible means available. Containment of SCP-1055 depends primarily on both its isolation and positive social attitude. In the event of a catastrophe, staff are to evacuate and flood the living room quarters with nitrous oxide. Under no circumstances is any physical harm to be done to SCP-1055, even and especially if it becomes hostile. So it has a hostile phase. This one says access additional information. Delete, destroy after reading as per HP 5810. Forbidden knowledge disposal. Containment of SCP-1055 depends primarily upon the health and well-being of its caretaker, D-1055. Due to SCP-1055's extreme reactions to human perception, successful containment requires that staff on staff be misdirected to believe that D1055 is the anomalous entity himself. D1055 is of diminished mental faculty, but aware of the importance of his service in keeping Bugsy safe in his arms. D1055 has thus far presented the only viable means of containing SCP-1055 without massive loss of personnel and resources. What does this SCP do that you have to keep a teddy bear away from it? By the way, if that teddy bear is the same one as SCP-1048, I swear to God, dude, kill it, destroy it. Don't even think about it. We never know. It might be the same. It might be in the same building. Oh yeah. Okay, level 4 personnel who oversee containment of SCP-1055 are not allowed within 40 kilometers of Site-77, nor may they directly interact with any personnel tasked with its maintenance. Damn. SCP-1055 is formerly Michael Schroeder of Douglas. WY is a Caucasian male, 6'4" tall and 280 pounds, 29 years of age, and suffers from autistic spectrum disorder and Down syndrome. That tall and Down syndrome? Oh my god, dude. That is a weird combination. Of course, Down syndrome can hit anybody, but... Oh, I mean... I don't know. I actually haven't... I'm not informed enough to know how Down syndrome fully works. But... being that tall with Down syndrome must not be easy. SCP-1055 may be addressed as 1055 Mikey or any nicknames which he suggests. Despite classification as an anomaly, staff are encouraged to address SCP-1055 with normal social pronouns in documentation and conversation. Data expunged. Additional information access. Delete, destroy after reading. Yeah, okay. Same as before. Under normal conditions, SCP-1055 superficially resembles a specimen of Ursus arctos horribilis. However, its volume, mass, and morphology shift spontaneously. The means by which SCP-1055 gains and loses mass is not understood, but it appears to be in relation to the number and proximity of individuals who are aware of SCP-1055 and the nature of the attention it receives from them. Hostile or fearful awareness of SCP-1055 increases its size and hostility significantly more than benign awareness, but due to SCP-1055's violent nature, even calm awareness of its existence can quickly spiral into potential containment breach as the danger it presents escalates and exposes itself to more individuals. You don't want that. At the event of catastrophic exposure to human awareness, SCP-1055 will quickly be overwhelmed by its own size and will no longer be able to effectively move at will. However, it will continue to grow and produce sensory organs and appendages which are used to assault any living creatures within reach. Even in confined or subterranean location, SCP-1055 growth can exert enough pressure to cause tremors and massive structural failure, and pieces of the biomass are capable of growing through and widening gaps or cracks of any size. Oh. Apart from its mass generation, SCP-1055 possesses no special ability to resist trauma. Portions of SCP-1055 biomass that are removed via trauma do not regenerate or continue living independently. However, about 75% of any hostile action taken against SCP-1055 to date has failed to destroy more of the organism than the very act itself generated, even in the circumstances where the trauma was applied remotely via bombing or automated defenses. Poor dude. I need to sit differently, just so I don't fall asleep. I can feel my eyes getting really heavy. Like I said, I didn't sleep a lot. No upper limit to the size or lethality of SCP-1055 biomass has been established during containment breaches and exposure to civilians in an on-screen personnel, the only event which had ever been shown to effectively reduce SCP-1055 in size and the death of at least 80% of the individuals aware of its existence. Amnestics of any class are not sufficient to eliminate awareness. That's a problem. Total elimination of SCP-1055 is hypothesized to require the extermination of all previously exposed individuals, including the O5 Council itself and anyone who is reading this document. It is the O5 Council anonymous opinion that a failure to properly restrain SCP-1055 could quickly spiral into an XK class scenario of its existence become publicly known. Yeah, because he would be too big. He would be massive. Everyone would see this giant dude. Total elimination, publicly known. Yeah, containment procedures adapted from captured GOY intelligence. The GOY was unsuccessful. Researching attempts to destroy SCP-1055, which has led to its escape and subsequent data expunged. Same as before. Current procedure was adopted following SCP-1055's 12th containment breach, which resulted in sustained precision bombing upon former Site-76 and the loss of all personnel within with the exception of D-1055, previously classified as D-492291, C Form -46, termination exemption. Stay awake, Afro, stay awake. Double-blind recovery teams found D-1055 alone in the rubble, clinging to the shredded remains of SCP-1055 as a security blanket. It's hypothesized that D-1055 lacks the full capability to understand Buxy's true nature, and that all his awareness of SCP-1055 is obsessively protective and affectionate. It is not capable of triggering the escalating growth and hostility that normal human interaction with SCP-1055 produces. According to interviews with containment personnel, it appears that SCP-1055 itself either currently lacks the body and muscle mass to resist D-1055 or simply lacks the will to resist. The majority of the personnel have been successfully convinced that SCP-1055 is a poorly sewn, if disturbingly realistic, stuffed animal. Any movement or other indications to the contrary have been attributed to D-1055's supposed anomalous nature. I don't care that this arrangement has worked out the best out of all the previous scrapped containment schemes. It is not sustainable in the long run to ask a mentally challenged man to keep the end of the world as babe with hugs. We need a long-term solution, preferably orbital or oceanic, to keep exposure to human awareness at the absolute minimum. Or 510. Tell Mikey that we're taking Bugsy away and we're facing a brand new containment breach. I recommend doing so in person. There would be at least one less person who knows about this thing. Via Protocol 12, we are already recruiting in plenty of mentally challenged individuals for key to work. We're grooming future candidates to inherit D-1055's duties and to act as a backup if the worst that happens. Argue all you want for putting it in the sky where anyone can see it. This is the cheaper and safer option by far. 057. I mean, I would have sent it to the sky, but at the same time, maybe we would have bumped into aliens, and then they came away with him, and then he grew even bigger. Okay, let me get something to eat and drink. Maybe that helps. Let me just mute the mic a little bit. Okay. I'll occasionally just take a snack or a drink just to like keep myself awake. Resize it. It's the Honey I Shrunk the Kids plot. That's what it is. Oh god. Oh boy. Today, I'm gonna be reading a lot. It seems. Save. Fucking fruit flies are still around. Even though I managed to get rid of most of them. SCP-1056 is to be kept in a 50 centimeter cubed 10-digit combination safe with biometric confirmation when not being used for testing. Only personnel involved in SCP-1056 research and testing may have access to the object. All tests require prior authorization by the site director and by research staff with the level 3 clearance or higher. Tests on living subjects must be conducted in a secure testing facility meeting level 2 containment guidelines to prevent modified subjects from escaping. All objects altered by SCP-1056 must be kept in Class E ablative storage for 48 hours after transformation. The creation of any object or organisms over 200 kilograms must be approved by site director. SCP-1056 superficially resembles a burnished chrome kitchen timer with numbers ranging from 0.25 to 4. I guess that's like the seconds or minutes, and an activation button on the right hand side. A 1x1.25 meter wire mesh platform is connected to the device by a 3 meter insulated molybdenum carbide wire coated with molybdenum disulfide and an unidentified organometallic complex. The mesh is capable of folding into a 27 x 35 cm square. When the device is set to a number and the side button is pushed, any object in direct contact with the wire mesh platform will scale up or down in size by a factor corresponding to the number setting. The device was recovered by SCP personnel following reports of unusual behavior among students at high school in PA. School officials began. Gotta get my phone out of my pocket. School officials began an investigation when the teachers reported that a number of students were behaving unusually. Specifically, the students that displayed a significant impaired language skills, abnormally poor attention span, long-term memories, and impulse controls. Medical examination of the students revealed the presence of numerous vascular and nervous systems abnormalities. Foundation personnel recovered the device at the home of one of the students who had presumably been using it for recreational purposes. The only indicator of the manufacture or distribution of the device is a 4x1 cm imprint on the bottom of the device reading "the factory." Oh, it's the factory, eh? All electronic components are of generic make. The manner in which objects are resized appears to follow a set of rules that varies depending upon the complexity and function of the object. Simple and inanimate objects such as minerals, metals, and plastics scale up or down to precisely to 4 significant figures, the scale indicated, without any regard to molecular or microscopic scale. For instance, a 5 cm stainless steel cube on the 3 settings scaled up to a 15.1 centimeter cube that was indistinguishable in molecular composition from the original cube, but that different in a microstructural level. Average grain size on the 2 cubes was identical, and individual grains on the small cube did not scale up or on the large cube. I see. Okay. SB1056 appears to scale complex devices and biological organisms with some attempt to maintain the functional properties of the object or organisms. For instance, the microprocessors of electronic devices are often modified if the altered scale would result in non-functional transistor gates. Insufficient power or excessive heat built up. Devices that have been scaled down often have a reduced number of transistors and may demonstrate floating point errors. While all but the most complex mechanical objects scale relatively well, electronics are often rendered non-functional when scaled below 0.50 and above 3 of the original scale. Living organisms that have been resized by SB1056 retain the basic anatomical structure but often experience significant reorganization of the circulatory, pulmonary, and especially nervous system. Cell size and composition remain identical to that in the original organisms, but the number of cells increases or decreases proportionally to the change in volume. The only exception to this observation is the nervous system, where the average neuron may increase or decrease up to 25% in linear size, thus potentially becoming slightly under half or over twice the original volume, with negligible effects on function. Interestingly, SB1056 appears to split the difference, with a single-celled organism slightly altering the average cell size and also altering the overall cell population. Whew. Humans can be resized by SB1056 as low as 0.50 and as high as 1.75 with minimal change in functions. Shrinking humans often results in increased gianencephaly, folding of the cerebral cortex, a reduction in average neuron volume, and a decrease in white matter. This appears to preserve cognitive function down to 0.50. Attempts to scale up humans below 0.50 results in a substantial decrease in cognitive function, language comprehension, and short and long-term memory, indicating that this is the minimal size required for humans-like intelligence in a mammalian brain. Humans scaled above 1.25 demonstrates slowed reaction speeds, a reported increase in creativity, and substantial improvements to long-term memory. Scaling beyond 1.50 greatly increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases, stroke, aneurysm, and renal failure. The scales of any organisms beyond 3 is highly discouraged. The mechanism by which SB1056 institutes these changes in a scale is currently unknown. High-speed video footage of transformation up to 20,000 frames per second indicate that the transformation is nearly instantaneous, as there is no apparent transition between forms. I see. I read all these experiments without activating my mic back on, didn't I? I'm not going to reread it, but a lot of experiments, like basically for people who don't watch these videos and have it on the background, basically, I'm so sorry. That's what you get for me being tired. Basically, growing a human in size is more detrimental than growing them than shrinking them. A lot of things that grow get like an improvised addition to it, so on and so forth. And there was a mistake at the end where it almost grew an entire the entire planet, almost. That was at the end. So I apologize for not having my mic on. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to do this. Won't forget this time. So SCP Foundation, please be gentle. The last three need to be short ones. I'm falling apart. Absence of shark. So like an ocean where sharks are supposed to be in it, but there aren't any. Or like it's a type of water that just teleports sharks out. Oh, thank you. This is really highly rated. Safe. SB1057 is kept in a reinforced glass containment tank 4 meters tall, 15 meters long, and 9 meters wide, filled with water which has been treated to replicate a temperate ocean environment. See document -H-22 for specification. Vegetation in SB1057's habitat is to be maintained twice a week. See document -H-19 for specification. It is forbidden to enter SCP-1057's tank for 30 minutes before and after feeding. SCP-1057 is to be fed 5 kilograms of raw meat and fish 3 times a day. Once every 4 days, this meat and fish is to be injected with non-toxic fluorescent dyes. See document -T-4 for specifications. The tank is to be lit with ultraviolet lamps. SCP-1057 is an animate empty space 5 meters long in the shape of an adult tiger shark. So okay, I get it. It looks like a shark is there, or like, but it's just space. Okay. Galeocertocuvir. It does not appear to have any mass. However, it displays water by unknown mechanisms. SCP-1057 refractive index is approximately that of air, which makes it partially invisible when immersed in salt water, as well as its anti-shadow is discernible under the bright light. Experiments involving the insertion of inanimate objects into SCP-1057's body have revealed that there is nothing there. However, further experiments along with those lines are contraindicated, as this triggers extremely aggressive behavior on the part of SCP-1057. SCP-1057 behavior has been assessed by Foundation ichthyologists as being within normal parameters for an adult tiger shark. Any food consumed by SCP-1057 disappears, with the exception of the non-digestible fluorescent dyes, which are regularly added to SCP-1057's food to facilitate monitoring its behavior. These dyes persist within SCP-1057 for 5 to 9 days and outline a digestive and circulatory system. Several hypotheses to explain how this is possible when there is no manifestly no actual when there is manifestly no actual shark present have been suggested, tested, and disproved. See archive 157-N4. Acquisition log. SB-1057 was captured in the public swimming pool in redacted. Public swimming pool? Why was it there? How did the shark get there? Well, it killed 2 swimmers and mutilated a lifeguard. 5 people were killed in the ensuing panic. Foundation personnel embedded in the local hospital reported the incident. Retrieval agents arrived on the scene, and SB-1057 was eventually taken into custody. During forensic examination of the swimming pool premises, document 1057K24 was discovered on the staff bulletin board, although document SB-1057-K24 is handwritten. No fingerprints were found on it. Panic means that the idea of a shark can be more dangerous than an actual shark. It can even be more dangerous than no shark at all. Are we cool yet? No. No, we're not. You put a shark in a fucking pool. A public pool at that. You bastard. The semi-visible man. Either a human being that flickers between invisible and invisible, or a transparent human. It's nice to see that this one is also short. It's nice. Save. SCP-1058 is to be kept in humanoid containment wing 2 of Site 17. Due to the nature of the subject's anomalous behavior, the floor of the cell is to be covered with 1 centimeter of sand, to be replenished every 2 weeks. The cells to be lit by only a single light source at all times. The source should be mounted in the center of the ceiling with redundant backups in case of failure. Let me check something real quick. Okay, I'm good. SCP-1058 appears to be approximately 60-year-old male human, possibly from the southern United States. The subject was recovered from a martial colored dog. It seems like every weekend, those guys have to show up at least once. In any of the 20 SCPs I read over the weekends, they show up at least once. Distribution center in. The subject is fully sentient and capable of speech, as well as interacting with physical objects. SCP-1058's anomalous properties manifest as a total invisibility to all forms of direct observation. Despite this, the subject does not cast a shadow. Does cast a shadow, never mind. In addition, SCP-1058's shadow causes a surface or object with which it falls upon to alter its appearance towards that of the subject. The speed and mechanisms of the process appear to be dependent on the density, state, and other physical characteristics of the substance the subject's shadow is being cast on. Sand and other granulated or powdery substances seem to be the quickest affected by SCP-1058, with metals and other hard materials being among the slowest affected. Any object attached to the subject also comes under its effects, becoming invisible to the direct observation and altering the appearance of the effect of the subject's shadow on the material. Anything removed from the subject becomes visible. This includes clothes and accessories, as well as pieces of hair, blood samples, and other bodily effects. I see. Now we have tests. Test 1. Senior researcher, standard foundation, 5-meter cube testing cell. Floor was covered in approximately 1 centimeter of sand for the duration of the test, and SCP-1058 was placed on a chair in the center of the cell. At the start of the test, all but a single light was turned off until the conclusion of the test. And these are 1 minute, I would assume. Visible ridge of sand appears to form on the sand on the other side of SCP-1058 opposite. Wait. A visible ridge of sand appears to form on the sand on the side of SCP-1058 opposite the lamp, in the shape of the subject with his arms by his side. 37 seconds later, SB-1058 is instructed to lift his arm above his head. Subject complies. 1 minute 44. The sandwich is observed to tumble following the movement of the subject. The effect area began to gain a more detailed likeness of the subject regardless of the movement. 2 minutes 8 seconds. Subject is instructed to wave arms rapidly. Subject compiles before returning his arm to the original position. 2 minutes 15 seconds. The sand remains stationary. Affected areas cease movement as the hypothesized maximum level of detail is reached, being a little more than a silhouette with creases at the ankle, waist, wrists, neck, and hairline. 2 minutes 40 seconds. Test ended. Test conclusion. The subject effects on the material is projected onto is preceded by unmeasured amount of lag before the material is altered to reflect movement. Test log 2. Senior researcher. Standard foundation 5 meter cube testing cell. Floor was covered in large piece of sheet metal, and SB-1058 was placed on a chair in the center of the cell. At the start of the test, the light source was placed so that it shined upon SB-1058 from a different angle. 19-second surface of the metal in the subject shell begins to show signs of corrosion and rust. 5 minutes 14 seconds. Subject falls asleep. Portion of the metal affected remains the same, besides gaining additional detail slower than before, contrary to the slight changes in the subject's posture. 23 minutes 55 seconds. Subject is woken up, instructed to get out of the chair. 24 minutes 10 seconds. Chair observed to have changed color in accordance to the subject's immediate shadow. 24 minutes 14 seconds. Color of chair gradually returns to previous state. The corrosion and rust on the metal remains. No other anomalous properties were observed. 25 minutes 40 seconds. Test ended. Test conclusion. Speed of the effect appears to be based on the subject's state. The duration of the effect on the material also appears to be based on the mechanisms by which it is affected, not only the physical properties of the material. Test 3. Senior researcher. Standard foundation 5 meter cube testing cell. D21894 instructed to stand in SB-1058's shadow for the duration of the test. 32 seconds. D21894 reports a buzzing sensation on the area of his body covered by SB-1058's shadow. 1 minute 37 seconds. SB-1058 expresses a wish to sit down. Approximately 2 seconds later, D21894 appears to be repeating SB-1058's statement but does not vocalize. Okay, so it's just like his mouth didn't move and the words just came out? Or like a telepathic link? SB-1058 instructed to try moving one of his arms. Subject complies. Data expunged. Test ended. Data expunged. D21894 expired several hours after the conclusion of the test. Oh boy. Last one, infectious censorship. All I can think of is that people want to say fuck or shit, but it's just like they would just be talking. It's like yeah, and then my dog just sat down and didn't want to move, and next thing you know, moved like a couple steps, and then they completely shit. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that. That's what's happening, and they're like confused. Please be short. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You give me sweet release. Documents known to be written, it's Euclid, by personnel infected with SCP-1059 are to be rewritten by uninfected researchers. Personnel known to be infected with SCP-1059 are to be treated with counter-mimetic therapy and removed from duty until they show no further signs of infection. They are to afterwards be monitored for signs of relapse. Individuals outside the Foundation found to be carrying SCP-1059 are to be treated with Class A amnestics if practical, or otherwise removed from positions where they can potentially infect others. SCP-1059 is a mimetic compulsion to hide, censor, or otherwise to obscure information when communicating with others. It is most prevalent in those already dealing with classified or sensitive material. Kind of funny in the case like where the SCP Foundation has to censor certain things. That's why all these black blocks and data expunged happen. So kind of funny in that regard. Infected subject will, when conveying information, find that apparently random piece of information will seem disproportionately important. This information will be treated as though it is the highest level of classification the writer is familiar with. They will do so even after the information has been shown to be relatively harmless, or even vital to those reading the resulting material. SCP-1059 is spread by reading infected material or discussion with infected individuals. Those most at risk are those still learning classification procedures. Infection can be easily prevented by maintaining a solid grounding in the rules of regulation governing classified materials within the organization. SCP-1059 was discovered at the National Security Agency when a discrepancy was noticed by Agent Jameson, a Foundation operative embedded in the NSA headquarters in Ft. Meade, Maryland. Documents originating from certain offices were being classified as top secret regardless of the actual content. After the possible causes were ruled out, further investigation showed several individuals were infected with a previously unknown mimetic agent, which was eventually designated SCP-1059. Addendum 1, improper handling of infected materials led to an outbreak of SCP-1059. Within the Foundation, it has been difficult to track thus far, and a full audit of Foundation documents and staff is pending. So far, 17 fatalities can be directly attributed to vital information expunged from containment procedures. This document has, Addendum 2, this document has demonstrated signs of SCP-1059 infection and has been expanded to meet Foundation standards. Please see document A for previous versions. And here we go. Euclid document known to be written by personnel infected with SCP-1059 or to be rewritten by uninfected researchers. Personnel known to be infected with SCP-1059 are to be treated with redacted and removed from duty until they show no further signs of infection. They are to afterwards be data expunged. Individuals outside of the Foundation found to be carrying SCP-1059 are to be data expunged, or otherwise removed from positions where they can potentially infect others. SCP-1059 is a mimetic compulsion to hide, censor, or otherwise redacted information when communicating with others. It is most prevalent to those already dealing with classified or sensitive material. Infected subject will then conveying information found that apparently random. That's all the same. Shown SCP-1059 is spread by redacted. Those most at risk are those still learning classification procedures. Information can be easily prevented by data expunged. SCP-1059 was discovered at the when a discrepancy was noticed by Agent, a Foundation operative embedded in headquarters in documents originating from certain offices were being classified as top secret regardless of the actual content. After other possible causes were ruled out, further investigation showed several individuals were infected with a previously unknown mimetic agent, which was eventually designated SCP-1059. Improper handling of infected materials led to data expunged. And that's it. That was the last one. I'm so sorry, guys. Like, ugh. It was the day I felt the exhaustion. So I mean, let's go through this quickly because I want to go to bed. Anna, bitch. Absolute bitch. The fact that she just tells people like, you only get my love if you really commit to just not gaining any weight and losing it all in the most inhuman way possible. Absence of shark. I like the idea of like a shark form, like almost like a silhouette of a shark, but there's no shark there. But you can clearly tell like there's supposed to be a shark there, but I don't see it. I like the idea of that. The Nevadan extraterrestrial. I mean, it's an alien that eats human beings by becoming a airport. It's pretty intense. Just that sentence alone. An alien that wants to eat human beings by luring them in, by transforming into an airport and luring them in, basically. So yeah, the garden gnome. I think that's just wholesome. Honestly, yes, it grows other gnomes that can move and do stuff, but I do think like there was no danger involved, so there's nothing to worry about there. Obsidian Obelisk of Warning. I mean, it's just that's ominous. Ominous. I can't speak anymore. It's scary. That there's like apparently this stone that existed for so many years has a warning about destroyers, which apparently are stronger than gods and so on and so forth. The semi-visible man, very fascinating concept. The idea that they, like, when you look at them, they're not visible, and they also seem to like corrode or like control or change things with the shadow. It's pretty interesting. Infectious censorship. I always like when the Foundation decides like, let me actually show you what is behind those data expunged in those blocks. But in this case, we already seen what it was, and then we got like, this is how it used to look like. Resize it. I put it there because I am ashamed of myself for reading that part without, activating my mic back on. I'm ashamed. I'm sorry. Very much sorry. Overpopulation. Yeah, I mean it's a growing infection that slowly but surely changes everything to like a mashed version of different cities that we know. And Bugsy. I'm so tired I don't even remember what Bugsy was about. I know there was a fucking D class and a teddy bear and all that stuff. But I'm so exhausted that I already forgot what actually happened in Bugsy. So, time for me to go to bed because goddamn that all-nighter yesterday is kicking my ass. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I'm sorry if I was this tired. I promise I won't do this too often. And next time, if I do it again, like an all night, I'll make sure I drink some G Fuel beforehand so I am awake again. But for now, I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, evening, and I see you guys on Wednesday for some collab streaming with Lexi. The Afro is with you all,